Viking select Christian Ponder, quarterback, Florida State.
Coming to you now in mid-quality audio, brought to you in part by FNS Delivers. From your Vikings game day headquarters, Great Mandarin at the Eden Prairie Center. It's football talk like you've never heard before. Get ready for America's favorite Minnesota Vikings podcast. With your hosts, Sticky.
I really hated what he did. I hope he starts on fire.
And Buns.
You have gotten naked and are standing right in front of me and are doing thrusts.
It's the Sticky Buns Fun Time Happy Football Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Sticky and Bun.
Okay. Hey, we have a theme song.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Did we play it?
I'm hoping it has been played.
Is it being edited in post?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially we started this podcast with an opening, but we have not addressed it because we haven't heard it. I mean, we have, but not in sync with what we're talking about.
Well, that's how it's going to work.
That's fine with me. It is a beautiful, beautiful opening. That's all I really have to say about it.
All right.
So, Bunny, that's what I'm calling you now.
At least you tried to go with the nickname.
That's true, I did.
This is the first week of that. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast.
It's been what?
Almost 2 weeks.
Week and a half. Not almost 2 weeks. Well, I guess we did do it on Monday last, so it would be 12 days. Closer to 2 weeks than a week and a half. Yes. Schedule is partially to blame. And laziness on my side. And laziness on your side for refusing to go mobile. And reality is, if you had attempted to go mobile, it would not have actually worked out. So it doesn't really matter.
So I'm not to blame at all.
No, I mean, you didn't.
That's what I like to hear.
You didn't know that, so we're going to stick with it.
Okay, whatever. But hopefully we won't go this long again between podcasts anytime this year. Hopefully we get to a set schedule. Once upon a time it was supposed to be Tuesday. I think Tuesday and Friday are the only days we haven't done a podcast so far.
That probably is accurate.
The intern suggested we change our name to the Tuesday Podcast and then never do it on Tuesday.
That is I think that's a good recommendation. I would say my only thoughts on it are, I watched the movie Tusk the other week. You ever heard about it?
No.
It's a movie done by Kevin Smith, so you know it's a little odd. But it's about, the main character is Justin Long. You know who he is?
No.
What has he been in? Dodgeball. You like the movie Dodgeball?
Yes. Okay,
he is the guy, the cheerleader guy, who plays dodgeball and then goes to cheer and then comes back to dodgeball. You know what I'm talking about?
Not really, but anyhow, go on.
Anyway, the whole movie is about, he's a podcaster who goes to interview this guy. The guy essentially kidnaps him and tries to turn him into a human walrus. It's a very strange movie. Anyway, but the point of that is that he does a podcast and apparently does really well and makes a ton of money. That's what I think we should do.
That's a great plan.
I will also say that Haley Joel Osment is his sidekick, and if Haley Joel Osment at this age and looking the way he does can do a podcast and make money, so can we.
I thought the whole point of podcasts was it doesn't matter how you look.
It doesn't, but that's not the point, Nick. We look better.
Good.
But we need a studio. Anyway, that was a long rant for no reason.
I haven't decided yet what we're calling this season.
Wait, no. Before we get into that, we have not gotten any mailbag questions, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
I want to know what you think of the Minnesota Twins.
See, I was very fired up about this a couple days ago, and now I'm not so fired up.
You yelled at me for postponing our recording because of the Twins.
Yes.
Not because they were playing or you needed to talk to them, but because you needed to talk about them.
Why would I go to you if I needed to talk to the Twins? Is that a possibility? Can you arrange for a meeting between me and the Twins.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I have delivered to the Twins before. Literally to their clubhouse. Not in the new stadium, but nobody's paying attention to that section.
So what was the big Twins story the last couple days when I was all fired up?
I believe it was about one of their pitchers should have gotten a bonus, but it rained, so he didn't, and he's already rich, and nobody cares except for people who aren't rich. That's my gist.
Now, see...
Filbert, I think his name is.
Phil Hughes is his name.
You don't know it's not Filbert. Have you seen his birth certificate?
I haven't seen your birth certificate. I haven't seen my own birth certificate. I don't know what my
name...
name...
You need to get out more, then.
I'm not sure that me getting out more will cause me to see my birth certificate.
You never know.
Do you think it's just flying around somewhere? It's in the trash and it's just blowing around and I will randomly stumble upon it? What is your theory that if I get out more often,
listen,
I will find my birth certificate?
How else does one find a birth certificate? It's like a treasure hunt.
Not usually. I think your parents normally have it.
No, I think that's a lie. That's propaganda. That is propaganda.
Your parents probably don't have yours because you were probably stolen at birth?
I actually have mine. I should say I have a copy of it. I have an official copy.
You have a copy. Well, we all know how those are all Photoshop pieces of shit.
I have an official copy. It has a drawing of a cock and balls on the back, but I do have an official copy. I cannot tell you where those came from. But
why can't you tell us where those came from?
Because I have no idea. I just don't... I don't have the answer for you. Anyway, so tell me about this.
So, well, you kind of made the point I was going to make. Because I think you can make the case either way for the bonus. I feel like they could have just thrown it to him for charity, or at his charity, if not to him. Just something. But Phil Hughes set a major league record, historical record, not even just, the season, not a team record, a record for the entire history of MLB.
He did.
And that was a secondary story to him not getting the bonus.
Yeah, do people actually know that it happened? Or is that just like a passing, like, hey, that guy's named Jim, and then they move on with their lives?
I'm not sure how to respond to that question, so I'm just going to power through.
All right. I can accept that.
And the Twins really could use some good PR, so it baffles me that they didn't give it to charity just so that was the story. Not have the story be, oh, the Twins got lucky, the front office, or the Pohlads got lucky, they had a rain out, and they were probably all happy about it, and so they saved $500,000. Like, the Twins should not be that worried about $500,000 this season.
Well, I mean, maybe they should, because I feel like they're going to lose more than that next season just on tickets.
The thing is, most of that money now comes from TV deals and all that jazz anyhow.
Highway robbery.
Well, yeah.
That's why I don't have cable.
But it just felt like this was the sort of thing where you really don't want to detract from one of the very few bright spots you've had in the last 4 years to save $500,000. I think you throw it at charity, and here's the other thing that kind of bugged me about the whole thing. I felt like a first-class organization would have been prepared for this possibility. Like, as they would have came into the game saying, we know Phil Hughes is 8 1/3 innings away from getting this bonus. We know that there's a possibility of rain, that there might be a rain delay late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a good organization would have had a plan in place to handle this. The Twins clearly did not. And then they got a lot of credit because they originally, when they asked Gardenhire if they would let Hughes pitch from the bullpen during this weekend series, Gardenhire said, no, we're not going to do that. Phil Hughes agreed with the decision. And then later the Twins got a lot of credit for saying, oh, hey, we went to Phil Hughes on Thursday, the day after we said we weren't going to do it, and asked him if he would like to. We gave him the option. And I felt like what they were doing was giving Phil Hughes an option to be stupid and saying, we will pay you if you are a moron. And I don't feel like they should get credit for saying, hey, if you want to be just moronic, we'll let you. I don't feel like that's a praiseworthy thing because they've already sent out all the press releases. Everyone's been praising Phil Hughes for the season he's had. So to risk it, coming into a situation he's not normally in on short rest, I mean, it'll probably be fine, but imagine if that goes south. Imagine the tone that sets for the off season. So they said, hey, want to do something really risky and stupid for money that you already have more than enough of anyhow? I don't feel like this is a praiseworthy thing for them to have done, to put Phil Hughes in that situation. And Phil Hughes, luckily, was smart enough to say, no, that's stupid, I'm not going to do that.
I hope he said, you're retarded.
We can only hope that's how that conversation actually went.
And said, you're retarded, you're still paying me for the last X amount of games that I'm not going to play. I'm going to be drunk every day at the stadium. I hope that's what he said. That's what
I just hope that's
said.
What he does. I mean, granted, he's not going to be in Minnesota because they're on the road this last series.
Did we trade him? Is that what you mean? Did we trade him? We cut him? Wait, you can't cut in baseball. I don't understand
said we
that.
weren't at home.
Yeah, I wasn't listening. I mean, it was. I just chose to disregard what you said.
The Twins are on the road for the last 4 games. They're in Detroit tonight. Playing right now, actually.
Are they winning?
I have no idea. Their
Nobody
record
cares.
is not important enough to
Nobody
be concerned
cares.
about.
Do you think the Twins care? Nobody cares. That's my response.
That's my feelings on that. Do you have any thoughts based on the little you paid attention to?
No, I was paying attention. I was looking up something for when we actually talk about important things. I will say this. I agree that we shouldn't be applauding the Twins for coming out to say that because that's all they could do. But I do understand it from a business prospect that they have obligations that, yes, common courtesy says that maybe you could just say, we'll give you the fucking money. Well, who do you want the check sent to? You just tell us. We don't give a shit. We're billionaires. But...
Are you going to go with the precedent thing? Because that's a pile of shit.
Mr. Bunn. No, not even a precedent thing. But it does create a sticky wicket for the CBA, agents across the nation, and it does pose a problem of where's the line? Is one out the line? Or is one hit the line? Because there are incentives everywhere.
Oh, there are. So precedent is the thing.
I guess.
See, I feel
it's
like
not precedent
I've
though. It's where are you going to draw that line then?
Normally, I think you can be fine with drawing the line where it's actually written in the contract. I think this is a situation because of the Twins' reputation. I think a well-earned reputation, even if it is sometimes overstated, of being cheap assholes.
Are they actually though?
Yes.
Are you sure they're cheap assholes or that the guy in charge is a cheap asshole?
They are extremely loyal to a guy who happens to be a cheap asshole. I think that there's a reason they're extremely loyal to him.
Is the reason you?
No.
Get it? You didn't get that?
No, I didn't.
It's a Hoobastank song. And the reason is you.
We definitely need to have you sing more during this podcast.
Is you.
That's how we're going to make the money, like in that movie you were talking about.
Tusk. It wasn't that good of a movie. Thankfully, we went to a double feature, and we also watched... What did we watch? Because the other movie was the one I wanted to go to. What did we watch? I don't remember.
Clearly another great choice.
I think it was just like an okay movie that I kind of wanted to see. I don't remember. It's irrelevant. But if you want to talk movies, I don't even want to get started on effing Channing Tatum being cast as Gambit. I really hope Gambit is cut from the fucking movie. That's all I have to say about that. If Channing Tatum dies tomorrow, I'm happy. The best part about G.I. Joe 2 was when Channing Tatum's character dies. Because then I know he's not coming back.
You watched one of the G.I. Joe movies?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not going to take your recommendation for movies ever again.
Are you kidding me? Listen, if we have to, I will play you songs from one of the greatest films ever made, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I don't go to films to listen to songs.
No, but never mind. You play video games. Watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World. You ever heard of the movie?
I've heard of the movie.
You need to watch it.
I get sick of the main actor in that movie.
Oh my God.
I'm tired of him.
Yeah, if he dies tomorrow, I'll also be okay. But
you're going to feel really bad when there's a string of deaths in Hollywood tomorrow.
Here's what we need to do. We need to do a movie kind of like Left Behind. Not the apocalypse. What's the rapture comes, but it needs to be like reverse. It needs to take the really crappy people away and just let me blissfully run naked through the streets. Although I feel like I would be then a crappy person that would be taken away, so it would be less fun. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. You need to watch it, Mr. Bun, because it is the perfect blend of live action film and video game editing. At points, he actually grabs a life. He gets quarters. It's hilarious. It's awesome.
All right.
I will let you borrow it. I have an electronic copy. I have a copy on my phone, and I also have the DVD with special features.
Okay.
And I have the soundtrack on my phone and on my computer. Do you think I'm a little obsessed?
Just a little strange, I think, is the thing.
Okay. I only have one thing to say to you.
Okay.
Buns are us. Do you know what I'm going to say to you?
No.
Choo-choo! All aboard the train to Depressionville.
I don't know if I have a full depression tour in me today, but I do
want
to talk about what we're going to call the season, because I have two options so far.
I feel like that means that you're already in depression, that now you don't care enough to even have an opinion of what it's called.
It was more...
We'll
talk about it, but we've got two choices I've got so far for the season.
Let me be your doctor. You lay down on the couch.
Dumpster fire or trash fire? Dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire is the twins. Don't steal that from Saucy Sauce.
Okay. The Everything is Terrible Forever season.
That's what you keep calling it in your messages to me, and every time I laugh and I show anyone around me. I don't care if I even know them. I am not joking with you. I have shared your messages with complete strangers.
I like the contrast there between forever and season. The Everything is Terrible Forever season.
Yeah.
I kind of like that name.
We're going to go with it. You're the conductor. I am along for the ride. Clearly, I am in the back car, and I'm trying to dislocate and get out of it and disconnect from your terrible tour. I would like to jump off the train, go find happiness in a meadow, which I think I have. But
you think you found happiness? You're excited.
When am I not excited?
That's true. And we do get to see Teddy Bridgewater, which I wasn't really wanting to see him this early in the season. I thought we'd get past some of these brutal games. But it's Teddy time. I'm all in on Teddy time. All in still on Zimmer. But there are things to be concerned about.
I like this picture.
That's a good picture.
I'm glad
that we're talking about it on a podcast where no one else will be able to see it. Maybe we'll make that the picture for the podcast on YouTube.
We could. That's our knight in shining armor, Bunny. Bunny Bun Buns.
So do we want to talk about the Atlanta game? Or not the Atlanta. Let's talk about the New Orleans game first.
The Saints. Also, they can join Michael Cera and Channing Tatum. If they disappeared tomorrow, the world would be a better place.
You think the world would be a better place without them? I understand you'd be happy because you hate the Saints. But would the world be a better place?
Why couldn't Katrina just wipe out the Saints and leave the people alone?
I think they would just reform the team with new people.
Right. But it would be new people, and it would no longer be the hated, cheating Saints. They'd have to rename it. It'd be like now the Charlotte Bobcats, or whatever they're called. The Pelicans, or the... whatever. No, we're going to make it different. I don't know what you call it.
What thoughts do you have about that game?
Well, what thoughts did I have? I thought, we played well. I know it does not seem that way.
One half of the team played well.
You should put the mic closer to your mouth.
One half of the team played well.
Did you turn off your mic?
No.
Push
that
it back.
doesn't look good. Hello?
Hi, welcome back. We missed
Am I
you.
back, or is that just you?
Nope, that's all you.
Okay, so apparently the cord got loose. I wonder what was missed.
Were you jiggling?
I'm always jiggling.
What part of you, baby? Baby Buns? Ooh, I'm going to call you Baby Buns. I think we played well.
Half of the team played well.
For everyone who is going to listen to this at some point, you are now holding the mic upside down because you're afraid it's going to pull out. But the problem with that is that the cord is heavier than the actual piece, and so the cord would eventually pull it out.
Okay, I put it back right way. Half the team played well.
What half?
The defense.
Actually, I think the defense did very well. You're hesitating. You get really
very well.
emotional.
I feel like you need to have more than one sack and maybe a turnover.
Do you realize, though, first off, Harry, the hitman, Harrison, he missed one for sure pick six. And
I was about to say one. The other one, I rewatched the game actually today.
I will never believe you whenever you tell me anything about rewatching a game, because you sat here and told me how the Patriots were terrible. And I
think the Patriots are
us.
terrible, and that's what's so depressing about that game. That's why we went on the depression tour, because I don't think the Patriots are good. They barely beat Oakland.
And we're still
I
on the
understand
depression
Oakland
tour.
actually got a cheap call too, or it had a cheap call go against them that might have affected that game.
Fucking Patriots.
So, no, I still think the Patriots are going to... I think the Patriots are the secretly bad team this year. They're not horrible. They're still good enough to beat, well, apparently us, as well as Oakland. But I think they're actually going to have a really poor season overall. That's my gambling advice. And I've been doing terrible on the league pick'em, so don't follow my advice.
Really? You've been doing terrible in the league pick'ems?
Well, terrible, not good.
Okay. I think I did really well because if you think about it, that was the lowest scoring, lowest yardage by the Cheatin' Saints at home since 2008. That is 6 years.
Yeah.
And the lowly Vikings did it.
They had a really rough start.
They did. First two series were horrible. Who do you think took the blame? Have you heard yet?
Are you going to say Greenway?
Nope, Zimmer took the blame.
Oh.
He said that they changed their calls a lot, and that once he figured out what they were doing, he made the adjustment, and they no longer marched up and down the field.
Well, I assume they changed something. But no, after that, the defense, like I said, I would like to see a couple more sacks, a turnover. Harrison finish that pick six.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
I suppose very well. Yeah, I'll give them very well. Not great.
No, I didn't say great.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
It's about time. Does this mean it's going to be a happy tour? Because you're agreeing with me?
We lost.
That's true. That's not really that happy.
No. We lost to the Saints. It can't be a happy tour.
Because they cheated. They cheated! They actually cheated again. They effing cheated. That is not that it was a terrible call. You know it was a terrible call.
I agree it was a terrible call. I don't think the Saints are responsible for the refs making a terrible call.
I want to check the ref's bank account before I make that statement. That's all I'm going to say about that. I just want to check.
But even if that call had not gone our way, there was no guarantee that would have been enough.
Oh.
Because our offense failed to get the ball in the end zone against a terrible defense.
You are correct. You are correct. I will say, however, Matt Castle, obviously we've lost him forever. He's dead. He did miss a wide open Greg Jennings streaking down the middle of the field. I don't even remember what he did with the ball. But he is dead now. And so I think it took some time.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Teddy? Because Teddy missed
No,
a
Teddy
wide
did
open
miss.
Jennings, too.
No, yes, and he missed a Rudolph one. But Jennings is always open. Let's just admit it.
They really need to throw the ball to him more often.
Somehow he is always open. I don't know how. He just is. Anyway, so Castle missed that, and then he went down fairly quick.
He played the first quarter.
And he died on the field. And I think
You really didn't read the injury report very closely, did you?
I mean, I listened to his press conference afterwards when he was a ghost, but that's about it. I actually didn't listen to anything he said. I was making something. But I think it takes time after you lose him before the offense clicks and you figure out what's going on. We were building momentum. Because Teddy took him down 2 scores, just not into the end zone. But remember, he has never played before.
Nothing after that second one, which was pretty early in the third quarter, I believe.
Sure, but or
was it actually still in the second quarter?
I honestly don't remember. But we were building momentum, and then when that play happened, all the momentum was gone. It was gone.
You read Bill, what is his name, Barnwell or
Bill
whatever?
Nye, the science guy?
No, Grantland.
No,
he would tell you momentum is stupid.
Momentum is not stupid. Because here's what happens: it gets people fired up, and they start to perform better, or
then the other team gets momentum back, and then, oh wait, why didn't momentum work this time?
But it takes time to build momentum when you're on the road. You don't just get it. Because
so if after that touchdown, Patterson had returned the kickoff for a touchdown, that wouldn't have been a momentum shift? Do you think momentum tripped up Patterson?
I will say that there is a time element. So if Patterson takes it to the house, yes, I think we regain it because it's been such a short time.
So then what does momentum do?
It's like you drinking Surge. It allows you to run faster, jump higher,
and be much poorer because that shit is expensive.
We need to pool our money together and buy it. But it allows you to do things. Plus, when you're at home and you get that momentum, you now have 50, 60, 70, depending on if you're somehow the Dallas Cowboys, 100,000 people who are also feeling that jive, who are feeding you.
I think momentum's overrated.
You never played sports.
I played sports.
What'd you play?
I played football.
You
Not well. I was on the bench a lot of the time.
I have a feeling that the brand of football you played doesn't count.
Are you saying 9-man doesn't count?
Yes, Chad Greenway. 9-man is not a real thing. It may be real in South Dakota. It doesn't really exist for the rest of the United States.
I think momentum is a nice talking point for announcers. I think players certainly get excited and stuff, but I think momentum is just this concept that really means whoever is playing well at this moment, we say they have momentum, and then we credit momentum when really it's not momentum.
I would, as a very competitive person who is in a lot of sports activities, you're wrong. That's all. There's no other way to say it.
I'll send you a link to an article.
That's fantastic. I won't read it. I appreciate the send of the link, but I won't read it.
Okay. And we should judge pitchers by wins and losses.
Why not?
That's all that really counts in the standings, right?
That is accurate. In the end, that's all that matters.
All that matters is wins and losses.
Here's an example of momentum. 2009. The 49ers had been building a lot of momentum.
So they had been finding ways to take advantage to exploit weaknesses in the other team.
Yes. Okay.
And then they took advantage of those weaknesses that they were starting to find and did well, and it was momentum who carried the ball into the end zone.
No, what happened is they started winning games, started beating good teams, And then fourth game of the season, maybe it was? I can't remember what game of the season it was. They came into the Metrodome. They played really well. They started beating the pants off a Brett Favre-led Viking team. And then it happened.
It's strange that momentum didn't, tip that ball away.
I know, right? But
Since momentum is such a powerful force, that ball should have just been knocked into the crowd.
There was magic in that old arm we found on the street.
You gave the perfect example of why momentum is bullshit. I'm curious how you're going to turn this into momentum is real.
After that, they basically sucked balls because that play killed the whole season momentum. They could not recuperate. And Sean Hill was a quarterback, and he was basically excommunicated. He's not allowed.
Maybe Sean Hill was playing above his head the first couple weeks.
He's not allowed in California anymore because of it. He has to get a work visa to travel with the Rams. That's a true statement.
That's not a true statement.
You don't know it's false, so you can't make that determination.
I know it's false because the rules of the United States say you don't need a work visa to go between states.
I think you're a liar. You have no idea. You're a computer programmer. You don't know what the real world is like.
You're right. I live in my fictional, 8-byte world.
You have an 8-byte world?
I have an 8-byte world.
Plug it in.
Am I in?
That's what she said.
See, I knew I should have held it upside down.
Now
everything is better.
I look forward to watching you hold it, because I'm not going to lie, it looks like you're holding a penis to your mouth. Because you're holding it like...
Why does it matter which way I'm holding it? It could look like a penis to my mouth either way.
I think it's more because here it looks like you're holding a microphone. Here it looks like you're about to shove a giant penis into you.
I'm not going to shove a giant penis in my mouth.
Let's be honest. This is how we felt about the Saints game. We just wanted to move on with our lives.
So we don't want to talk about the offense some more and talk about...
We can if you like.
How depressingly terrible the running game was?
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad, Bunny Poo.
And this is what I'm concerned about. Because one of the big issues that Leslie Frazier had was he had the inability to know who to use at what time.
Okay.
And
that was one of his issues?
That was one of his issues.
I feel like he had way more issues.
He had many other issues. Mostly he was playing a defense that has been, shouldn't be played anymore. In 20 years, they'll call it something different and it'll be great again.
I think the Falcons disagree with you. I think they think he should play that defense all the time.
Anyhow, it concerns me. And I don't hate Asiata. We've been really brutal on Asiata. Asiata is Nick Punto. I don't hate Asiata. He's not actively trying to destroy the team. He's not Rondell White.
You think Rondell White tried to destroy the team?
Yes. He was actively destroying the team from within.
Okay.
Nick Punto is just a guy not being used properly. Asiata made sense because he does well at the... Stop trying to take pictures of me.
I'm accomplishing it. It's not a try.
Asiata does things that Pearson struggles with. He's a good pass protector. He catches balls cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
He struggles at all the things Pearson is good at, like power, speed, acceleration, cutting.
Running.
I read somewhere that he has good vision. I'm not sure how you can tell this, because whatever his vision is, by the time he gets to the point...
I would disagree with that. Who said that?
I think it was... Who's the Viking Journal guy?
Arif?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know how you could tell he has good vision, because everything closes up by the time he gets to it. So he's terrible at all those things, other than maybe vision. So he should not be carrying the ball 12 times in a game. And that's how Norv Turner used him. And that's concerning to me.
Okay. I kind of agree, but I feel like you have to give it time to figure out, and I think you and the general public are a tad impatient. Because you
think I'm a tad impatient?
Yes, just a tad.
No one can see what you're doing.
I can't stretch my arms that far. You have to give him a shot. And the Patriot game, there was no shot. There was no shot. You were so far behind that running became incredibly secondary.
Thing is, I think you can see what Asiata is. I think it's pretty clear what he is, and I don't think it should. I'm not impatient because he was terrible last few games. I'm impatient because I know exactly what he is and what he isn't, and I was aware of that much sooner. Am I still? See, I stopped holding it upside down and things went bad.
I think we just didn't want to hear you anymore.
I think Asiata is what he is.
He is? You mean I am what I am and that's all that I am?
That's right. And I think it should be obvious what he is.
But I don't think you can say it's obvious. I mean, maybe it's obvious now, but I don't think you can say that because how many attempts did he have in the last game? I'll look it up.
12.
12? Are you certain on that? You seem very positive.
I'm pretty sure. I think he had 12 for 32 yards. Maybe
Would you like to wager?
What are we wagering?
I don't know. What would you like to wager?
A quarter.
Quarter. I really like it on the Vikings. On the Vikings thing, it actually says the game Minnesota-New Orleans, but it doesn't have a thing for the New Orleans Saints. It doesn't have a logo. It just says no. I like that. Because no, we did not. Well, let's see. Rushing, 22 attempts for 59 yards as a team. Let's go to players. There are no stats for this game, according to the Vikings app.
They don't want you to see how terrible Asiata looks. No, he is what he is. He doesn't have. He had poor stats in the combine, especially for things like explosion and all speed. He's never. I mean, we've been joking since the first carry he's got that he has never. I mean, the first game I was already saying he's never broken a tackle in his life. We knew what he was.
Did we?
We did.
Okay, but whatever. Matt Asiata sucks. I'm not going to disagree with you. He sucks. There's no way I can put whipped cream and a cherry on him and call it good. There's no way I can slather him in corn syrup.
I don't like the way you're
dump sugar all over him and eat him and call it sweet. It's just not going to happen.
Is it concerning that the guy who might be that guy, Banyard, since they don't seem to trust McKinnon, was not picked up by anyone when he was cut?
Hold on. You need to get off the Banyard train. You picked him up in fantasy football.
I'm proud of that.
You should. And are you starting him still?
No, I made that trade.
Yes, you made the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen. What did it involve? 6 players?
I think 8.
Oh my god.
But no one cares.
Banyard is not the guy. Banyard is not the guy.
He might be the guy.
He is not the guy.
In a couple weeks,
He's
might
not
be
the
guy.
He's not the guy. We're going to trade for someone then. If it becomes Banyard or trade, we trade. And then we'll just drop Matt Asiata.
See, Asiata has a place as a compliment to Adrian Peterson, but whatever. I wouldn't mind cutting Asiata either. That would be no great loss. I just don't have a problem with him as a compliment.
Just put Zach Line back there.
I actually like that idea, but they don't seem to like Zach Line at all, and I've never understood that either.
I feel slightly uncomfortable when you like my ideas. I don't know what to say about that, except I feel uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable. When we talked about this season, what did I say was the team's greatest weakness?
Running back.
No.
Quarterback.
No.
Defense.
No.
Turnovers.
You really don't remember.
Coaching. No. I don't remember what I did yesterday. How would I remember a random statement you had?
Depth.
Yes, you did say depth. I remember that. You and about 75 million other people.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
But I thought we were more concerned about depth in the defense and secondary.
I was concerned with depth pretty much everywhere.
Great depth at quarterback. And
not anymore.
Are you kidding me? We're the best backup quarterback in the history of the
God.
NFL. What's my team name, Nick? Bon?
Yeah, you need to change your team.
What's my team name on our fantasy football league? Just say it.
Kevin for fucktards.
I don't believe I put fucktards. What does it say? Do you want me to pull it up so you can read it?
No.
Are
Anyhow,
you sure?
That was maybe still the most disturbing part of the last game for me. When they would show Teddy on the sideline.
Who's going to be active on game days?
Talking to someone he should never talk to. He should avoid the plague.
You got so angry when you saw those two talking on the sideline.
They talked on the sideline, and the next series was the one where he missed a wide-open Jennings for a touchdown.
Yeah, because
he talked to Ponder, and Ponder is poison.
Ponder is not poison.
Ponder speaks, and poison comes out of his mouth and clouds quarterbacks' minds.
He is a dark spirit. According to you, he's a dark spirit.
That's right.
No, I don't think he's a dark spirit. I think he's a nice young gentleman who hasn't figured out how to be calm under pressure and play in the NFL. Put him on the Gophers, will be fine. Even though the Gophers apparently won at Michigan today. So they're already fine. Yes, depth is a problem. But arguably, running back was probably one of your strongest positions going into the season.
I didn't feel that way.
Are you kidding?
We had, not depth-wise. I mean, we obviously had what I thought was the best running back in the league at the top. But depth-wise, I knew if Peterson went down, we were fucked.
We had two versions of Thunder and Lightning. One in one bottle and one in two bottles.
No.
Yes. Thunder, Chunky, and Lightning. I don't know
Child's
what else
toy, drum, and dead electric fence. I stand by that.
We don't know if he's a dead electric fence. McKinnon, by the way. We don't know because...
Well, actually, when I first said it was about Banyard, but yes.
My God.
You said Thunder and Lightning.
Listen, I will pay, if any NFL teams out there, and I know you are listening to this, I will pay you to pick up Banyard. I will.
They can't. He's on the Vikings.
I will pay you
now.
to offer up a trade for him. I will pay the salary.
Pay the salary.
It'll have to be in installments over a very long period of time, but I'll pay the salary. Maybe it won't have to be. I'll take a loan. I just want him off the team so you can stop effing talking about him.
I just called him mostly dead electric fence.
I know, but mostly it's because you still have the dream that he's gonna be your cupcake.
No, not a cupcake. Better than anything else we've got.
You just want to lick him from head to toe.
That's never occurred to me. That thought has never once in my mind occurred to me.
I feel like that's a lie to us all, and I think you should apologize to our listeners.
It's not a lie, and I hate you.
What else? I guess you hating me is better than me murdering you or threatening to murder you. What?
I've had a lot of people threaten to murder me. One of my coworkers keeps threatening he's going to put arsenic in the water cooler at work.
Don't drink water. Then you're fine. You'll be the last one surviving, but just be you and him. Hopefully you can beat him in the octagon. Or maybe you should be the first to drink the water so you don't have to do that.
That might be the best choice. He might have odd things to do in the octagon. He might have odd thoughts about things. He's the one that actually listens to this podcast. I should probably stop.
Okay. Hold on. So to recap, you have a coworker who wants to poison the water to kill you.
Yep.
He listens to the podcast, so you decided to bring it up, and then basically
if I
said
am
you were afraid
poisoned
he's
in the
going
next
to
couple days,
touch you inappropriately.
Blame Matt Johnson.
Oh my God, you said his name.
I did. So if I die under suspicious, even if it's not suspicious, suspicious. If I die in the next couple weeks,
in general,
look at Matt Johnson.
I think the only way we won't look at Matt Johnson is if people record me standing over you with a knife.
That's a possibility, too.
I think it's maybe greater than a possibility. Can we just move on from New Orleans? I hate the Saints so much.
I think we should still talk about the injuries we suffered.
Okay, I can do that. No one was hurt. Matt Castle died.
Matt Castle died.
But our quarterback was reborn as a phoenix in Teddy Brewster.
Why would Teddy have to be reborn if he wasn't the one who died?
Because, listen, when Phoenix comes in, it saves us all. He has to be reborn on fire. Well, actually out of ashes, and then he's on fire, and he conquers the world.
I don't think you got that story right.
It's irrelevant, I think, at this point.
But Teddy didn't have to die. Castle was the one who died. If someone's a phoenix, it would be Castle, except for that's not happening.
Do you know who never dies? Christian Ponder.
He's a zombie? Is that the thing? You get
so uncomfortable when we even mention his name.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, Fusco, gone for the season.
I don't so much like that injury. I mean, I'd like that to not happen. Can we go backwards?
Can we turn him into a phoenix so he can be reborn?
Totally on board. What do we have to do? Do I light him on fire or you do?
You can try that.
What's the name of the guy in the league who, the hairy guy, Ruxin's sister's brother?
Rafi?
Rafi. Okay, so in order to get Fusco to be reborn, am I Rafi? Do I set him on fire, because I'm taking care of it, like the car, or is it you? I'm willing. I have a lighter.
You can be Rafi.
Okay, so I will start him on fire.
Kyle Rudolph is injured and probably missing. He'll probably go on the IR with designation to return. That's my guess.
He's not.
You don't think so?
No, they already said he's not. He's staying. He's staying with us for 8 weeks.
Okay, but he's still going to be out the next month or so?
Longer. 2 months. They said up to 8 games.
At that point, why not put him on the designation?
I had the same question. I wonder, I'm a fan of Kyle. I wondered, is he actually good? Because when is the last time we saw him for an entire season and produce at a high level that he's supposed to be at?
I still think he's good, even if he's had injury issues. He does have some big catches at times.
But I feel like he should be better.
Well, that was the hope coming into the season. The hope was that the reason why he wasn't better was Musgrave, and that now with North Turner, things were going to be better and happier and all that.
Guess we'll have to wait till next year or the end of the season. Don't worry, he'll be here for our playoff stretch to get into the playoffs. Who else was
Well,
injured?
I think I just blacked out there for a second. What did you say?
It doesn't matter. We can talk about it at some point once we get on the winning train, which is going to happen this weekend. Oh, yeah. Got a magic lasso. I'm going to rope up some falcons and drown them in a fucking river. Is that too harsh? I mean, they seem like nice guys, but they're going to go home sad.
So, Falcons.
We're going to win.
We are.
What more do I need to say?
You need to say where we're going to get an offense.
Okay.
Because our running game is shit. Our offensive line has not been playing well and is now missing the guy who's arguably been playing the best.
Yeah, I don't think it's arguably. I think it's pretty black and white that he's been playing the best, but I don't think the offensive line has been playing as poorly as you anticipate. For example,
the Falcons line hasn't been playing as
ours. Our offensive line. For example, everyone talks about Khalil sucking nutsacks, and there have been plays when he's definitely done that. But as if you read the plays in which we were sent on our Facebook page, Sticky Buns, really he only had 6 plays that were bad.
I think 6 bad plays for a game at left tackle are always going to be an issue.
That's it's probably just under 10%.
I feel like there are certain positions where you can't have that many bad plays.
Sure, but
cornerback, you can't have that many bad plays because that's probably a game where you give up like 3 touchdowns and 180 yards.
Unless you're Brett Favre. You can do anything you want if you're Brett Favre.
I'm talking about as cornerback.
Oh, corner.
Yeah,
they said quarter.
No, if you have 6 bad plays as a cornerback, you probably got burned really badly.
Yeah.
So you had a bad game.
Yeah. You mean like Fred Smoot did when we had him against Carolina?
Covers 1/3 of the world.
No, 3/4 of the world is covered by water. The rest, Fred Smoot. You have to say it right.
Okay, a quarter, not a third.
But you have to talk about yourself in the third person. First person? Doesn't matter. But we don't know. I'm not even going to go with we don't know the specifics of what he was supposed to be doing. He was playing against some top-notch talent. He was playing against guys who, they had over, in 3 games, he played against guys who combined had over 50 sacks last year. It's not like he was playing against scrums.
I think he's not going to have many games where he's not playing against guys who got at least close to 10 sacks. I mean, that's the position he plays.
But this was like the cream of the crop.
The first game was the cream of the crop. The other 2 guys were good.
Chandler Jones is a giganto beast.
He had 12.5 sacks last year? That's not leading the league any year.
It certainly can lead the league some years. And
when is the last time the league...
He is a beast at linebacker. He's not even an end. He's a linebacker getting that.
So what's going to happen when... I mean, like I said, though, those are the guys Khalil is going to be facing all season long. That's a problem.
It's a problem, but it's not as bad as everyone says. And he was playing the top percent, and he should win more than he's not. And I think if you have 6 plays, which are bad, you're talking probably 10 to 15% of the snaps were bad. He's winning more than he's not.
But at that position, like I said, there are certain positions where...
Actually, Zimmer said 93% of his plays are great.
I think Zimmer is talking him up.
I don't think Zimmer gives a shit about talking anyone up.
I think when someone is lacking confidence, because the media is beating him up and fans are beating him up, he might. You seem to trust inherently everything Zimmer says, and I'm not there yet.
Because here's why I trust him. Because he
will
does not care. He's like me as a boss. I don't care. This is reality. I'm not going to talk you up to get you going. I'll maybe whisper sweet nothings in your ear to get you excited.
Is that what you do with Casey?
Well, I mean, it depends. I think he's mad at me right now.
Is he?
Well, let's just say we had a rough night last night, and he hasn't responded to a random text I sent him today, which means he's probably mad.
Casey, don't be mad at me.
Every time he gets mad at me, he does this. He feels like I'm abandoning him, and everything's up to him to do, which is not.
Does he have abandonment issues?
Maybe you'd have.
I mean, his brother up and left for Seattle or whatever. Maybe he has.
Wait, no, I hate Kyle. That's fine. Although, even though I hate Kyle, I do not wish he was Channing Tatum, so he can stay. He does not have to die tomorrow. Maybe next week. We'll see. Black and
Does Kyle listen to our podcast?
Doubtful. We have, 3 people who listen to our podcast?
Yeah, I was about to say, we may have one person who listens to our podcast.
It's low. I think the offensive line is, even some of the things I looked back, holes were there for Asiata. He did not take them.
Yeah.
And unlike Adrian Peterson, he does not have the ability to make up for that fact. But it was funny listening to Uncle Norv talk about how he thought there were situations that instead of getting 3 yards, we could have had 6 to 8, but we probably won't ever get the 80-yard runs again.
I don't think we'll get many of the 6 to 8 as long as he keeps thinking Asiata is a feature back.
I I don't know. I think the holes are there. I don't.
Well, yeah,
the
holes were there. I agree that there were some holes there that were there for the exploiting.
Telling you, put Christian in. Put Christian in at running back.
Can we?
Because you don't care if he gets injured.
Like as a punt returner and refuse to tell him you cannot fair catch the ball and then not block anyone? Can we do that? Can we put him in under that situation?
You mean you want to do the Scary Movie thing where they high-low him and he just gets cut in half and he's just laying there dead on the ground?
The shittiest movies.
I've actually only seen it as a preview. I have not seen that movie. I'm not going to lie. I've not seen any of those movies. I've just seen previews. I saw that, and it made me laugh. Because wasn't the coach... never mind. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Our running game is very scary right now. Not in a good scare. No. We do not instill fear into the hearts of anyone, including small children. Where's our offense going to come from? It's Teddy time. I agree that I think Tedford Blue has a better knack for getting down the field than dead Matt Castle. So my feeling is that when he does that, it's going to open it up a little more versus what we are used to with 8-9 men in the box and we can't run, then we're effed. Where now I think he's going to push the coverage back a little so that we can run. I think it's opposite, right? So normally what a Minnesota Vikings team thinks of is if you can have 10 to 15 passes and they be, okay chunks, then you can win the game because you have Adrian effing Peterson. I wonder if that's what they said to him when they found out he beat a kid. You're Adrian effing Peterson. You beat my kid. I think it's going to be reversed now, though. Instead of the passing, I think it's going to be if we can get 10 to 15 running plays that get 5 yards, we'll be fine because we have Tedford Blue the third on our team, and he basically can do whatever he wants. I have proposed marriage. I do miss Christian, though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm all in on Teddy. I wish he wasn't coming in a situation where our best offensive lineman this year was out, our best tight end was out, Adrian Peterson is out.
The best running back? Not even our
best running back.
The best.
Yeah. He, with a broken leg, might still be our best running back. If only that was the only issue.
I feel like you could literally put anyone back there and be as productive as we currently are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to suit up. I probably won't.
Realize you will die.
I won't last more than play and a half. And that's generous. I'm assuming they miss and I fall over. That's my first assumption. Because I'm not big enough where they can catch me and I won't slip a tackle. I'm small enough where I might wiggle out and then fall immediately.
Okay.
For half a yard.
Yep.
I really do think we're gonna win. I know I drink the purple Kool-Aid and I have purple colored glasses. I really do think we're gonna win. Bunny Poo.
I do not. I think.
Strange.
Yeah, I know.
Who'd have guessed?
Well, who would have guessed that you would say they'd win?
Good question. Nobody. That's the answer.
No, I do think the defense has been underrated by most people this year. Because, I mean, we talked about it, against the Rams they gave up 6 points, and you can dismiss that because Rams quarterback issues.
They imploded.
But like we talked about almost 2 weeks ago, really the Patriots offense only put 16 points on the board, and that was with 3 turnovers. Other than the one that also gave them a touchdown at the one. And they held New Orleans even after a miserable, horrific start to 20 points. So I can certainly see how maybe the defense will be sneaky good again and only give up somewhere between the high teens, maybe low 20s. But it's not just the defense giving up points. We have to hope that the offense, there's no turnovers on offense. And then we got to worry about Devin Hester.
I feel scared. I also feel confident because Devin Hester's nemesis.
You feel scared and confident. Excellent. I like.
Listen, you mentioned his name, and I immediately get cold. But
he has the most career returns against us.
Listen, like 80% of his career stats are against
granted,
the Vikings.
We talked about it. It was going to have to be either us, Packers, or Lions. But it's us.
But I feel like it's us, and there's a significant drop-off to anyone else. Like, I feel like if we represent 80%, the next closest team would maybe be the Packers, and they represent 5%. I feel like there's that. The Grand Canyon is between us.
And it sounds like he is just really, living it up in that. I mean, not living up like nightlife or anything, but just has really revived himself in Atlanta this year. That's what I've read. I don't.
Well, he's now on turf. I mean,
Fuck.
You can't. We also have turf, by the way. You put a speed demon like him on turf, and you just go to bed. It's over, Johnny. Here's why I might feel confident. I'm 50-50 on the proposition. I'm 100% on feeling cold and scared and in the corner. I'm 50-50 on possibly being confident. Okay?
Okay.
This is Iowa public school math. I am 50-50 on being confident because his nemesis, like if we have He-Man and Skeletor, his alter ego no longer plays for us. Because as much as I sometimes despise Chris Cluey, it was priceless when for his birthday his friend gave him a miniature sculpture of himself attempting to tackle Devin Hester, and all you see is Chris laying out like, no, I can't stop him. That's the only reason I feel mildly confident.
The thing is, I don't think Locke is a great punter either.
But he's not Chris Cluey. I feel like Devin Hester and Chris Cluey was like Kryptonite and Superman. Obviously, we know who was who.
If Cluey was Kryptonite, that would mean he would be able to stop Superman.
Nope. Chris Cluey was Superman because he did well against everyone except for Devin Hester.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm not that afraid of Devin Hester anymore.
Okay.
Now, that could also be because I'm senile and I don't remember what it's like to face Devin Hester regularly. When he used to wear Viking jerseys to practice because he was so excited to be playing the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, it is turf. We'll see. I still think we're going to win. We have the 7th highest rated cornerback at Pro Football Focus in Josh Robinson. And we have the captain who's just going to punch someone in the face. It's going to happen. You know it's going to happen.
I don't think that will help us win.
I think it might. And I do not trust the offensive line for Atlanta. And I trust our defensive front seven much more.
I thought the same thing about the Patriots. I thought their offensive line was terrible. And it turned out we had issues with it. And I thought
they made changes, though. And Bill Belichick is a bit intelligent. I don't think Atlanta's making any changes. I think they're standing still. And they lost some major talent on that offensive line. You got nothing?
We'll have to see. I would like to see a dominant performance by the front seven against a quarterback that has played in the NFL within the last 3 years. Because we have not seen that. And I would like to see the offense have a good game, because we have not seen that through 3 weeks either. And so to think the Vikings are going to win, I want to see them show that they can before I'm going to start believing it.
I also think our offense may be better because generally Gump, greatest under massive pressure, does really well at quarterback. But if you give him time, I think we can agree at this juncture, if you give Teddy Bridgewater, the 8th, some time to throw the ball, he will make a good decision. The Falcons almost never blitz. That means he's going to have time.
Or does that mean they don't have to?
No, they just choose to. They run a bit kind of like a cover 2, but they do some robbers and some stunts and things like that in the secondary, where we're used to seeing them at the defensive line. So they are predicated on getting 4-man pressure and having 7 people out to cover. So it's a kind of a variation of what we're used to. I think he's going to pick the shit out of that, especially with Greg Jennings, who's always open. And I think when you are only sending, the 4, I think your jet sweeps and things like that with Patterson, I think they start to come out a little more.
Are you as tired as I am after every game hearing even the coach say, we've got to get Patterson involved more?
I don't think I've heard it from the coach.
I feel like it. Not as much this season. Last year we heard it a lot from the coaches.
Yeah, we heard it after every single game.
But we hear it after every single game from the announcers. We hear it during the game.
Yeah, but they even interviewed Patterson, and he said, I'm being used as a decoy a bit. It's part of that chess game where you have to set things up so that you can turn it around later. Everyone saw the jet sweep kill the Rams. So, like, on the first fake with Patterson against the Patriots, basically the entire Patriots defense disregarded the rest of the Viking players and said, you will not go anywhere. Thankfully, it was a fake. But now people think it's a little bit of a fake, and New Orleans doesn't care, right? So I think you have to start going. You have to go back and forth for it to work. So I would hope we would see this more, and it's at home, so I think you can accomplish some great things at home. One would hope.
Well, we'll have to see.
What's your score prediction?
27 to 16.
Well, you are definitely not confident in pretty much any part of the Vikings.
I think the defense can hold them to 20 points, and then...
Oh, they're going to get Hester, special teams, okay. How do we get to 16? That's a slightly odd number.
That's not an odd number. That's 1 touchdown and 3 field goals.
Oh, I feel like you've thought this through a lot.
No, I was just thinking right now, and 16 is a perfectly common number. It's what the Patriots did 2 weeks ago, essentially.
I am going to say, you ready for this? You ready for this, Bunny Poo? Bunsy? Bunsy, I would like to turn you into onesie, because the Vikings are going to win, and it's going to be 21 to 13.
Okay.
8 points. The Falcons will have a chance to win it at the end, and Matty Ice will be frozen. He will not complete that pass needed to make it.
Pretty confident about Rhodes matching up against Julio.
They move around often enough. It's not going to be a one-on. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to do man up. I think there's going to be some safety help. I trust our safeties.
Okay.
Who are our safeties?
Blanton.
I was just kidding.
I know you'd want to pass up. We want to be done with that, but how sad was it watching him try to tackle Jimmy Graham?
It was
like he had the perfect angle. He had everything perfect, and he's just like, oh shit.
And then he realized he was tackling an adult male.
I was just about
and
to say,
he was a little kid.
Yes. Trying to tackle dad.
It was. I can't even be mad at that play because it was so hilarious.
It was not. there's nothing he can do. I mean, there are just sometimes there's physical matchups that you're not going to win, and that was one he was not going to win.
I feel like Jimmy Graham didn't even try the stiff arm. He's just like, go away. Kind of like Adrian did in the Browns game a couple years ago. Remember when he just grabbed the face mask and just said, get the fuck out of my way. Yeah, it was kind of like that. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Any parting words for our huge audience?
Thanks to our audience member for creating, the one listener for creating the theme song.
Absolutely.
Even though he's busy being a dad, assuming that wasn't, a lie.
Well,
we've already questioned one person's pregnancy on here.
I think we
Do we want to question this one?
I feel like we can safely say that they did have a baby because there is one. I don't know if they had it or if they stole it or if it was adoption or if they stole it. I think we know which one I'm leaning towards. We won't know for a while until the baby starts to look like them.
Okay.
So I think it's up in the air.
I mean, we do have to remember the history of the person here. This could be a prank.
Yeah, this is the person who puts random things on Facebook, and then if they're not commented on in 15 minutes, he deletes them.
Yep.
So you can't prove that it was there.
All right. Well, I don't have any other parting words. You?
Go Vikings.
All right. See ya.